friend of yours?
I don't have any friends.
So while researching for this video you're watching right now, I came across some news about Casino Royale director Martin Campbell. Turns out he's addressed the possibility of returning to direct James Bond 26. But that's not all. He also shared his thoughts on why the next 007 should be in their 30s, saying past candidates were just too old. So let's dive into everything we know about the movie and what's next for the franchise. Campbell's comments come at a time when the search for the next James Bond is still ongoing. The last Bond film, No Time to Die, marked the end of Daniel Craig's tenure as the iconic 007, and since then, speculation has been rampant about who will take up the mantle. Names like Henry Cavill, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Paul Mescal, and Idris Elba have all been thrown around, but no official choice has been made yet. In a recent interview with Screen Rant while promoting his latest film Cleaner, Campbell was asked if any actors he had previously auditioned for Bond could be reconsidered for Bond 26. His response was pretty direct: no, because they're all too old. He explained that Bond actors are typically signed on for 5 films, meaning they need to be young enough to carry the role into their 50s. According to Campbell, the sweet spot for casting is someone in their mid-30s to ensure longevity in the franchise. This aligns with what franchise producer Barbara Broccoli has said before. Casting a younger Bond is a must. With Bond 26 aiming to introduce a fresh face to the series, it seems likely that older fan-favorite picks like Henry Cavill and Idris Elba are out of the running. Cavill, who turns 42 this year, was once considered for Casino Royale but lost the role to Craig. Even though some fans still hope to see him as Bond, Campbell's stance on the age requirement makes it clear that the chances are slim. So if Cavill and Elba are out, who's still in? Well, there's been a lot of speculation, and some of it has even been shut down. Last year, rumors spread that Aaron Taylor-Johnson had officially landed the role, with reports claiming he had already been offered the part. However, nothing was ever confirmed, leaving the situation uncertain. Similarly, Josh O'Connor, best known for Challengers, was briefly linked to the role but later dismissed the rumors himself, clarifying that it all started from a joke he made. Another popular fan choice, Tom Hardy, is also likely out of the picture. By 2025, Hardy will be 48, making him far too old under the guidelines set by Campbell and Broccoli. That leaves the search narrowing down to younger actors who fit the franchise's long-term vision. One name that seems to be gaining traction is Paul Mescal. At 29, he's younger than the suggested age range, but that could actually work in his favor, giving the franchise even more time to develop his Bond over multiple films. His rising career, particularly his role in Gladiator II, could make him a strong contender. Interestingly, Campbell's comments also suggest that Taylor-Johnson might still be a good fit. At 34, he's right in the ideal age range. Although the initial rumors about him being cast turned out to be premature, there's still a possibility that the Bond producers will circle back to him. With all these moving pieces, it's clear that the hunt for the next James Bond is still very much open. But if Campbell's insight is anything to go by, we can expect a younger actor to take on the role, ensuring they can carry the franchise into the next decade. Until an official announcement is made, though, the speculation will keep rolling. Who do you think should be the next 007? That said, now let's talk about what Casino Royale director Martin Campbell has to say about potentially returning for Bond 26. If the opportunity presented itself, would he be interested? Campbell, of course, made his Bond debut in 1995 with GoldenEye, bringing a fresh take on the action and successfully revitalizing the franchise. The film was a hit, raking in $356 million at the box office. A decade later, he returned to introduce Daniel Craig's Bond in Casino Royale, another game-changing entry that grossed $616 million worldwide. Naturally, this track record has led to speculation about whether he could return for a third round. While Campbell is quick to shut down any rumors about being on a shortlist for Bond 26, he isn't ruling out a return to the franchise altogether. In an interview with Screen Rant promoting his new action film Cleaner, Campbell shared his thoughts on whether he'd be game to direct another Bond film. "Yeah, I wouldn't say no. The point is that I love Bond. Bond is something I grew up with, right? Way back to Dr. No when I took my mother to see it. And Bond is, always for me, an event picture. The point is, when I used to see Bond, it was an event. And that's what's so great about them. The budgets are big, the action's terrific, and the character's terrific. Campbell also reflected on his love for the franchise and shared who his favorite Bond actor was. "And I've loved all the Bonds. I mean, the original Connery, who I was brought up with, was probably my favorite, if you see what I mean. But the way it's actually the arc of Bond over how many years, God knows, is it 50 years or something? It's extraordinary. So he's obviously doing something right." A shift in Bond actors is always a major event for the franchise. It brings excitement, but also uncertainty, especially when it comes to the tone and direction of the next era. Broader societal trends often influence how the franchise reinvents itself, ensuring that 007 remains relevant in a changing world. Given Eon Productions' careful and conservative approach to handling the Bond IP, it's no surprise that they take their time in deciding the next steps. Campbell was previously entrusted with launching 2 new Bond eras, successfully introducing both Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig. Considering his track record, it would make sense if Eon turned to him once again for Bond 26. While he claims he's not currently in the running, if he were, he probably wouldn't admit it anyway. As for who will actually take over as Bond, the jury is still out. With Daniel Craig's explosive departure in No Time to Die, the search is on for a new 007. Aaron Taylor Johnson is reportedly the frontrunner, while names like Henry Cavill, James Norton, and Damson Idris remain in the mix. Meanwhile, John Wick's David Leitch has expressed interest in directing Bond 26, with Taylor Johnson as his Bond. Campbell would be the safe choice for director given his past successes with franchise resets. However, there's an argument to be made that he might be too safe. The Bond series has often favored veteran filmmakers like Sam Mendes, but it has also taken risks with younger directors, such as Mark Forster, Quantum of Solace, to mixed results and carry Joji Fukunaga historically. Some directors have overseen multiple Bond films. John Glenn leads the pack with 5 movies, followed by Guy Hamilton with 4. Terrence Young and Lewis Gilbert each directed 3, while Campbell, along with Sam Mendes, has done 2. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay updated on all the latest movie news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up. By doing so, you'll stay in the loop with all of our future updates. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next video. Remember, we're always open to your suggestions for future videos, so feel free to leave them in the comments below.